April 27th, the rundown, once again brought to you by MVMT Watches. Kevin?
Oh, I got like 4 of them.
Come on.
Put on a watch, please. You're not going to put on a watch? They said they
Put a
want all of
jersey
us wearing
on.
the watches.
It's in a different room. You want me to go get it? I'll go get it.
Yeah, real quick.
Go.
God.
MVMT Watches, I pulled the oldest watch trick in the book. I wore it yesterday for the first time. I left that plastic on the watch, and then I take it off. It's like I got a new watch.
Oh,
Like,
okay. I like that. I like that. I
so
thought
it's
yeah.
like,
Okay.
yeah, it's new, and then I get a second newness.
Underrated, not to stop the movement watch, MVMT watch ad, but is there any better feeling than pulling that thing off?
No, that's what I mean.
It's the best. It's like opening a tennis ball can, and that is like 2 best simple pleasures.
I got fucking movement watches coming out of my asshole, okay? I got a ton of them, so.
All right. So MVMT watches are about $95. I'm actually slightly upset that MVMT watches didn't go out of their way to say that ad we did yesterday moved the most watches in the history of us doing any advertising, because I know it did. It did. It was so good. The same thing. If you don't want to spend $400 to $40,000 on a watch, which you can.
No, Kevin, you got to wait till when Dave flashes it, then you just flash it right away. Like
okay.
Dave, like
so. It's if you want to look good, you don't want the huge prices, you get MVMT watches. There'll be a link below this for mvmt.com/barstool is, I believe, the code to get. I don't understand that part. I think that's the code. You click on the link, you get your $95 watch. No, it's 15% off. That's what it is. So if you use /barstool, you get your watch. There we go. There we go. So MVMT watches, sharp watches. Sharp watches.
I almost cut my wrist.
That's sharp.
That's sharp.
All right, so let's get into the blog. Where did I put my? I got my list. Drake, the Raptors game. I mean, I don't know what I think of Drake. This move he does, though, this clap move, the aggressive clap in a guy's face, and then he photoshops on Paul George that he's crying like that little teardrop. He's scared of the Raptors. Basically a nothing series. He's sort of making it into something. So credit to him, because I like he's like a real poor man's Spike Lee, but it's interesting. I don't know what I think about it. I absolutely don't know what I think, because I'm sure people know he's the worst. I have a hard time, and it's the same with Spike Lee, when I think you really, really, really care about the team you're rooting for, I have a hard time smashing you. So, Big Cat, what do you got?
So that's my problem. Drake we know Drake is a front runner, right? Like, doesn't he have a million teams?
He does.
And then it's the Raptors. So I sort of agree with you in that, like cheering for your team, I'm never going to knock a guy for that. But it's the fucking Raptors and the Pacers. And you're the 2nd seed, and you're like scratching and clawing to beat the fucking 7th seed Pacers when it doesn't really matter, because you're going to get beat by the Cavs, and the Cavs are going to get beat by who cares? So that part, I think it's a little over the top. I was moving too fast this morning. Cowboy Rick next to Drake stole the show as well. I don't know if you saw. There was like an old dude with a cowboy hat who was basically like Drake's little lapdog, like doing the clap with him. A wild duo between the two of them.
KFC?
I hear what you're saying about the Raptors, but I feel like that's why I'm okay with it, is because nobody else cares about the Raptors, and it's like he is the Raptors fan. He's almost doing it. He's almost doing it for like all of Canada, though. I hear you. It's not like the Raptors are a real big deal in Toronto, but he's passionate. He's down for his team, and he's like the only guy repping that squad. But what is bullshit is that it's the 2-7 matchup. You're struggling, and you're going to put out fucking memes making fun of Paul George. Like, you should have breezed through this series, man.
Isn't Drake also about to drop his new album?
Yeah.
So this is kind of bull. Like, come on. And I don't like the whole I'm going to drop my new album, but I'm not going to tell you one thing either. It's just too much. Too much Drake.
Well, he also kind of does this shit for the camera. Remember when he did the
lint roller? Right.
So, like, I don't doubt that he is a big super fan of the Raptors, but I do think he knows he's doing this all for the camera. Whereas I think, like, Spike Lee back in the day, that was genuine. I think now he's an asshole, but when, like, in the 90s Knicks, he was just a super fan, whether the cameras were on him or not.
Spike Lee genuinely despised Reggie Miller. He thought he was getting in Michael Jordan's head. Like, that Drake, I think, is just there for the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll agree with you to a certain extent. I think what hurts Drake's cause is that he does the front runner thing. He'll be at Kentucky basketball, but I don't see him act anything like what he does at the. I think he's a legit Raptors fan. I think that franchise hasn't won a first round, so it really is that important for him in that franchise. So I give him a little bit of leeway. As far as the album coming out, I get literally now all my Black news from Caleb. I don't know if you listen to his Mr. Hotspot interview. I guess that album, which by the way, I recommend the Mr. Hotspot podcast with Caleb. It was one of the most bizarre things. This guy, Mr. Hotspot's like the most popular person in the world. He's one of those dancer guys in the Drake video, and he's just everywhere. And Caleb was talking to him. It was wild. But according to Caleb, this album has been supposed to be coming out for like 10 years now. So nobody knows when it's coming out.
I think it was supposed to come out when Beyonce dropped her shit, so he pushed it back.
He got out by her. He got pushed around the ring by Beyonce. This Saudi Arabian prince went to Avenue. He's worth like $10 bazillion. He dressed like he was going to the track. That's the only way. If you've been to the track on like a Thursday, he's even worse than that. I don't think he dressed like he's going to the OTB. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
he's too schlubby for the track.
I can see like Elio wearing that to go hang out. Yeah, no,
that's though like what a Thursday off-card day looks like at the track.
He's at Parks in Philadelphia. Yeah.
I don't care, and I don't think you mentioned this, Kevin. I don't care about the money. I don't care about anything. When you pull up with 15 like top-of-the-line Mercedes for your crew, except the only people in the Mercedes are the drivers, that is the best move I've ever heard. The guy showed up with like 15 to 20 six-figure Mercedes just to show up with him. Like nobody got out. It was just drivers. They just pull up. That move, good for him. I don't care that he's dressed like that. By the way, the Avenue is literally 5 minutes walking distance from my house.
That's your crib. Have you been there yet?
I've been once in my life after the Belmont. I went with Elio and McShay. If I knew this guy was there, I would have been trying to trade up from Chernin to this fucking Saudi guy. I would have been pitching him every idea under the sun. So that's kind of a shame. You blogged at KFC. What do you got?
The shoes were really the highlight. Those weird-ass sandals with his big toe being the only part in the sandal. I don't know. I feel like, I guess when you're worth $10 billion, you can do whatever you want. But I look at that guy, if I see him in the club, I think he's a schlub. I don't care how much money he's worth. When you look that ridiculous, I feel like money can't even buy you credibility when you roll up with those dumbass sandals, the pleated jeans, and the big gulp.
I think money can buy you. I think you can, Kevin, you become one of those girls in those Saudi videos where they're just like literally raining money with like Arabian music, and then you're like, I'm in deep here.
10 billion buys you whatever you want. I'm just saying that you got to be super rich. You have to be $10 billion Saudi rich to be even coming close to pull that off.
And Hank, make sure that analogy of the clip I'm talking about of the Saudi guy with the weird music playing, just like literally raining money in a girl's face is there, because that's what he would do if you called him out. Oop, dog alert.
The only thing that changes with him wearing this to this club, he's still going to get laid. He's still going to fill up, the Mercedes with a bunch of virgins or chicks that are pretending to be virgins just so they can get a piece of that Saudi oil money. The only thing that changes is he gets made fun of, and that's America. You can't walk in America and be dressing like that and not get your balls busted. Saudi, he probably dresses like that, and everyone's like, "Oh, we love you, we'll bow to you, and like don't behead us and all that bullshit." Come to America, we'll stuff you in a locker on the internet.
2 quick questions. Since we're making fun of him now, do you think he now thinks it's his right to murder us? Like,
I was thinking about that. As
culturally, yes.
I was like, this is. I usually don't have any problem making fun of anyone on the internet. That guy, I thought twice. I was like, I don't want this guy seeing that. That would scare me.
And because I'm sure he thinks wherever he spent the night, and he may be right, is like a Saudi embassy. So if a girl comes into his like crib, then it's taken. I mean, then you're just his property forever.
Yes.
And I also probably think like my elevator could ring, I could open it, someone just stabs me in the heart and they just walk away. It's like that's from the prince. I think that's legal.
Well, my question would be, even if Instagram hoes know that this guy's worth $10 billion, do you think they're still all over him at the club?
I mean,
if I'm a chick, I'm like, that guy's going to kidnap me and sell me in the Middle East.
No, he's not going to sell you. He's just going to keep you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a calculated risk. Do you want to be kept forever? But you could maybe get some money.
Right. I think the only play for a girl is you somehow have to steal, but you may just get kept. So
you basically, if you're a girl, you play along, maybe put like one of those low jack trackers on you and hope that someone comes get you before you make it back to Saudi Arabia.
Izzy Iguala has tried to hijack the Beyonce story by now saying Becky is an insult to all white women because it just means you like to give blowjobs, and every white chick's a Becky. Like black guys, every black guy doesn't want to be called a Deshaun. That's I think what she said. A couple things. The obvious. Iguala is white. Is that what she's saying?
She's Australian.
Yeah, she's from Australia.
So I didn't know that. That's why I thought that was interesting.
She wears so much makeup, she looks like the Waynes brothers in White Girls.
Yeah, she's Latin. I mean, she's fucking Latin.
The Waynes brothers?
What are they?
The Waynes brothers?
The Waynes brothers. I thought there was an extra A in there. Is it not Wyanas?
Yeah, but you said Waynes.
You know who
well,
invented
they should
them?
spell it differently. I'm actually saying it correctly.
You are.
You know who invented them?
Who?
Peter Chernin.
Woo! Ever heard of him?
Yeah. So
he's just the guy that made us care about malaria. No big deal.
Also, sticking with Iguala. All right, so she's Australian. That clears that up. All the people they're saying Jay-Z hooked up with are black, so that makes no sense. You got anything on this on Becky? By the way, we're selling Becky T-shirts, and
that was a good idea.
What is Becky?
And see, this is the point. Becky means white girl,
okay.
And Iggy Azalea's point was that it's like saying all black girls are Shanae. So yeah, like it is technically like stereotyping, generalizing, and racist. But the fact of the matter is, we're gonna sell Becky T-shirts, and white girls are gonna wear them and eat it all up because we're fucking white, and it's really good to be white. So anyone trying to say that this is derogatory to white people, it's like, come on, give me a break.
It's very tough to pull off the "you're being racist to white people" card.
It's impossible to pull off. Being white is the best.
Very tough thing to do.
As this company grows, one of the things that I enjoy is I don't even know what these T-shirts mean. I'm lost on this whole conversation. Caleb, again, my resident black person, he's like, put up the Becky shirts. I'm like, knock yourself out. Let's do it. I don't know what a girl's trying to say when she like. What is the message somebody is saying a girl if she wears our Becky T-shirt?
It's making
like basic bitch, right?
Yeah, it's basically like you're a basic bitch. All white girls are named Becky. The joke comes from rappers saying that "give me Becky" means give me head because white girls like to give head. And if you wear it, you're just kind of laughing at yourself. Like, yes, I'm a very basic white.
Like we should send one intern Dana who formally and be like, take a picture. And all right, I'll do that. Commercial break. We're back if we ever left. Today's politics. Ted Cruz reenacting the Hoosiers scene in the Hoosiers gym, and he called the rim a basketball ring.
You know, the amazing thing is that basketball ring here in Indiana, it's the same height as it is in New York City and every other place in this country. And there is nothing that Hoosiers cannot do.
By the way, this politicians, they're good for this. Like, this is what they do. It's always seemingly more amazing than the next. And then Donald is in a little bit of trouble with his pronunciation of Tanzania.
And Tanzania.
How did he pronounce it?
And Tanzania.
He said Tanzania.
Tanzania. So that's our politics update. Big Cat, what do you got?
I didn't. So I've been out today. I didn't know the Tanzania. Is that it? Tanzania? I kind of like that.
Yeah, Nate, that's
a lot of people are saying that.
He's kind of correct. It sounds better that way.
Cruz, though, that's inexcusable. I just don't get how do we never have politicians who like understand sports at all? That's not even saying the wrong name of a team. It's the fucking basket or the hoop.
Yeah.
A ring?
Well, this also happens with like Jeopardy. When the Jeopardy people get a sports category, you don't have to have like intricate knowledge of sports. A lot of this shit is just common sense. It's a basketball hoop. It's a rim. People are trying to say that he could have said a goal. He could have said anything else but ring. No, it's a rim. It's a hoop. It's not a goal. It's not a fucking ring. And this is like when was it Rubio or Cruz who threw overhand for cornhole? It's like they can't do just the basic things where it's like you don't have to be an expert in cornhole. You don't have to be a diehard basketball fan to know that you throw it underhand and you call it a fucking hoop or a rim.
I'd also like to be a fly on the wall on these staffers on how proud of themselves they were when they came up with this Hoosiers analogy. Like, we're going to drop the tape measure down and be like, oh, Ted, it's 10 feet tall here. It's just so fucking corny. The whole thing, politics in general. Dan Boyle.
Wait, by the way, just Trump mispronouncing things. Just another thing to add to the list of Portnoy-Trump similarities.
FYI, I think you guys point the finger like what an insult. I'm like, what a compliment. The guys.
Oh, we know.
I think it's actually fascinating at this point. I need Donald Trump to say Iggy Azalea to see how he says it, because it would be Azalea. I think he'd be.
Dave, you wouldn't be Donald Trump if you didn't take us calling you an idiot like Donald Trump as a compliment.
Okay, fair enough.
Just throwing that one in the old noodle.
Guy's a billionaire and maybe president of the United States. There's worse people to be compared to. Just maybe the most powerful human alive in a couple months. Yeah, that's me. Dan Boyle, the pride. I believe the pride of Hingham. I think he's a Hingham Mass guy. So the Rangers. He's a Ranger, right? And they basically quit on their season worse than anybody's ever quit in the history of sports, yelling / telling a reporter who I assume trashed them that he has to leave the locker room.
Nobody likes you. Nobody respects you. Just so you know. Not a critique, but I'm just telling you I don't want you here. I have no respect for you. I want you to get the out.
I don't care.
Well, I can tell you to get the out if I want to.
You can. I don't have to listen.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, guys.
I want him out and the other clown, Brett, or whatever his name is.
Interesting exchange. Boyle was acting like someone was going to escort the reporter out of the locker room. I don't think you can do. He's like, hey, get this guy like out of here. I don't think you can do that. Did he not know that? Like, I think a reporter is allowed to stand there and ask you a question. KFC?
Yeah, he didn't get kicked out. That's never going to work. Larry Brooks is like the biggest cocksucker in. I think he writes for the Post. He's like that dude in New York who's he drove Tortorella out of town. This is like what he does. So ordinarily, I'm kind of on the side of the athlete when they call out dickhead reporters like this. But he was just such a dick about it. This is also, by the way, after him saying he's going to retire, he's kind of been a disappointment ever since he's come to New York. And acting like this tough guy routine, like he's the fucking Sultan worth $10 billion. Get him out of here. It's just like, come on, man, give me a break. And also, this is what New York is. Like, there's always guys like that in the media in New York. If you can't take that, it's not their fault. That's your fault. You know what you're getting into when you come here.
Big Cat.
This is just a guy who's retiring though, and he doesn't give a fuck anymore, right? I mean, if he's a 25-year-old hockey player, he doesn't do this, correct?
I would imagine this is like a career's worth of frustration.
He's like trying to settle his scores, right? So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the guy trying to settle his scores on his way out.
But at what point do you have to keep like? I wonder who he was talking to, being like, "Get this guy out of here!" Like
Hank was playing it for me when we were driving back, and it sounded like so whiny, and he just kept on going and kept on going. You got to do the Ryan Leaf and just get in his face and like intimidate him like you're gonna beat the fuck out of him.
Right, right. You need people, but he was literally. My guess is he was talking to air, because who would he be talking to? He was literally like, snap my fingers, like, get this guy out of here. Who would do that? So, and he said it like 10 times. I don't know whether we needed this. Skip Bayless, I feel like it's an important thing. It kind of happened yesterday. So Skip is going to Fox Sports 1. So Fox Sports 1, I won't be surprised they put him with like, although Clay Travis isn't smart enough to keep up with him, but it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to put that type of pairing together. Ironic, by the way, that Katie Nolan's surrounded by this world but can't talk to us. It's the whole Fox Sports 1's really starting to get on my nerves. By the way, I like Skip Bayless. I think he's smart. I think he's quick. I think he does his job well. Big Cat.
I mean, he's a troll, but he's a master troll. So
right.
You can't. I agree with you in that fact. Like, Skip Bayless is the best troll there is. There's no one who even comes close to him when it comes to like earnestly thinking that he has real opinions that are just totally ridiculous. Fox Sports 1, they're just taking all the takes. Like
they're taking all the takes.
They're taking all of the takes. They have all of the takes right now. I don't get it. I don't get what they're. Isn't there a point where there are too many takes?
Well, here's the thing too. Fox Sports 1 has done this from the jump, where they just try to acquire everybody, whether it's fucking Regis Philbin or this guy. It doesn't work. And ESPN is doing the total opposite, letting all these guys walk, and they're bulletproof. So I'm
surprised ESPN let him walk. I don't think it'll be that easy to fill him with Part of My Take, which I think is a very popular show.
It's not
like a very popular show.
The endless amount of like hot blonde chicks. He was actually pretty unique, but they'll find another dude who can because that's the thing. He just says it's all shtick. You can get someone to replicate a shtick.
I'm not lying. For a part of time, I'm like, my phone's going to ring any second. When he left, it's like, who are they going to fill that can really give those earnest, hard, like, takes? Me.
You think ESPN wants to touch Dave Portnoy?
I don't know what's going on in the media world. I honestly don't know all I know is I think we're better than everybody, but nobody's like, hey, do you guys want to do anything? We just kind of sit here.
We're better than everyone, but nobody thinks that or says that.
I mean, look at what we had today. We had Smitty. By the way, Smitty's tattoo on his ass is fucking gigantic.
Huge.
I didn't see it yet.
It takes up. It's a whole cheek, Dan. It's a whole fucking cheek.
Why did he do that?
He said he got like swindled. He said that the tattoo artist was like, if you want detail, it's got to be a certain size, so it can't be small. I don't understand.
Like, is Smitty Banyan with the like, I'm the best Mario Kart player, and then the one time he does it for real, it's like he loses?
And he was laying on the table getting his ass tattooed, saying, I still think – it was almost Portnoy-esque. He was like, I still think I'm the best ever.
He's a soup bet. It's a soup bet.
I mean, it's a tough thing. It's a huge tattoo. The girl's holding a stool. It's something that I wouldn't want on my ass, that's for sure. So we had that. Schilling, by the way, I did my thing with him yesterday. I like Kurt Schilling. I think he's
Shocker.
I think he's a guy. He's one of the more unique guys. He's really religious. Well, not really religious. He's like an ultimate Christian. So he doesn't hate gay people, but it'll be like they can't get married because I'm not allowed to say they get married. He's a confusing guy.
Schilling was off the goddamn walls in your podcast. He was talking like at you, like screaming at the mic when he said, I'm paraphrasing, but when he said, people take your opinions and what you say and act like that defines who you are. Like, that's not how the world works, was crazy.
Like, I'm pretty sure what you say and what you think is who you are, Kurt.
I can see Dave right now. You agreed with me on the
figure it out?
No, I'm trying to figure it out.
You're trying to figure it out? You don't think that's the case?
I do not think he's, like, mean-natured.
No, neither do I. But you have to understand that what you say and what the opinions you put out there is going to define who you are as a person.
Absolutely. But if, like, one thing he said, which is kind of weird, it's like it sums him up, that transgender. I'm like, if a transgender person saw that picture, it's like, this offends me, would you feel bad? It's like, yeah, I'd really feel bad about that. Like, I'd want to talk to them and be like, why does it hurt you?
Right. So I don't think this is new information. He's always, to me, Kurt Schilling has been your crazy uncle who you still like. You love him, but he's crazy, and you know he's gonna say shit. Like, if you brought a girl home and your crazy uncle's there, you're like, I don't really want her around him because he's gonna say something and he'll feel bad, but he can't help himself from saying it.
Kurt Schilling's entire public-facing persona will be very different if he had some sort of 10-second filter. Like, if he couldn't just react.
He had a dump button. You need a dump button for Kurt.
Yo, I didn't finish it up. I heard you allude to maybe giving him the robe back. Did you do so?
I offered.
Yeah. He sounded like it was actually like sounded like he was really upset by that.
He was.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he brought up a good point. He's like, I pretty much went bankrupt. My entire company was in shambles. I lost $50 million in my house. Strangers were rummaging through my house, taking all my stuff, and I turned on the internet, and you were rolling around in my robe celebrating. So, like, he's like, I hated you. I'm like, I think you kind of got a point.
Understand.
That's a fair point, Kurt. That's a fair point.
Yeah. I think that's about all I got. The truffle thing, I agree with you, Kevin. Is there anything else?
What's the truffle thing?
I just think truffle's ruining the world. Everything's truffle fries, truffle butter on your steak.
Oh, I
truffle
thought
this, truffle that.
I thought truffle was kind of like over. I thought truffle had its heyday like a couple of years ago.
No,
There's no bigger fan than Renee Portnoy of truffle. Loves it.
The dog sniffing thing.
I still don't even know what truffle really is, to be honest.
I do, because I said I
like
went truffle hunting in Italy with truffle dogs. They're running around like smelling for the truffle, and
mushrooms, right?
Yeah, they're little mushrooms.
I mean, I got a burger the other day at the bar, and it just came like standard with truffle fries. So I grabbed my fry and I started eating it. It's truffle. I just want my regular French fries.
Oh, I think they're fucking with you. I think there's a fake. They make artificial truffle taste now. And then they
well, that may be true too, but I just don't want any of it. I don't want the real stuff. I don't want the fake stuff that tastes gross.
Maybe this is a regional thing, but I feel like we've already passed the truffle phase. Truffle's come and gone.
And by the way, real truffle, if you have real truffle, that burger will, New York prices go from like 15 to like, 100. I mean, truffle's crazy.
I just clear my name real quick on this anti-Semite thing.
Oh, you're an anti-Semite.
Well, probably, but not because of the tuna fish and apples. What is? That's not a Jewish thing.
It's Passover.
Kevin is right, though. Kevin is right. The person, the email and the blog that I read that you wrote, Dave, the person is right that Kevin is a huge anti-Semite. He just picked the wrong time to accuse him of it.
Dude,
it's like, what about when Kevin said he'd rather kill himself than be Jewish like a month ago? That's pretty anti-Semite.
Well, again, I don't know how your holidays, you never have to sacrifice to do shit. But I think the point of what this person was saying was they couldn't eat like normal. They couldn't have a hot dog because it's Passover.
Do you see what I'm saying? This guy basically like pulled over a murderer for going through a stop sign.
Yeah, no, and I said so much worse than this. And Dave, you're the Jew Pope. I get it. You're not supposed to eat other shit that's not kosher. Whatever. Fine. That doesn't mean you fucking show up to a baseball game with a can of tuna and an apple. That's weird.
I actually kind of agree with that as well, because like a baseball game's 3 hours long. You can eat before.
You can do a million things. You can't show up with bumblebee tuna and an apple.
Okay.
Bag of chips or make a kosher sandwich or something.
But the thought of this person calling Kevin an anti-Semite for this and not everything he's done in the last 5 years is bananas. That's crazy.
And 30. This goes way deeper than Barstool. It's also like the Al Jazeera thing. That was the time we're all going to get upset with me. The tuna fish and apples is when I'm an anti-Semite.
Like, you're the biggest anti-Semite I know, for sure. And I didn't even blink when you wrote the Weirdo blog. Right. Like, you should have sent that guy an email back with Kevin's tweet saying he'd kill himself if he was Jewish.
As a matter of fact,
you want to see anti-Semite?
I think all you guys are the racist ones or whatever. We don't know that guy was Jewish. We're just assuming. Maybe he just wanted tuna fish and apple.
No.
He didn't have a yarmulke on. He kind of looked Jewish. It could be. I'm just saying you're all jumping to conclusions.
Kind of look Jewish? That's right. That's anti-Semitic.
Well,
Kevin, did you see yesterday's rundown and that the Johnny Football's finally hit the last branch on the tree?
I saw he DM'd, but I didn't hear what was the conversation.
He's
ready to work here.
He's at the last branch on the tree.
No, the message, I don't want to rehash it, is Johnny and I are watching everybody. That's what the message is. Yeah.
Hey, Johnny, you watching this?
Yeah, we are.
I think,
and we're keeping a list of who's been naughty and who's been nice. And when all this innuendo and allegations, and that's all they are right now, Kevin. Allegations.
So now you're supporting Johnny Football.
I'm not supporting. I said let's see the allegations. I'm not condemning. I believe in innocent till proven guilty in due process. But
I literally predicted this too.
Johnny and I are watching. That's all. That's all. I don't want to rehash it, but we're watching.
I predicted this. I said Johnny Football is going to run out of lifelines. He's going to hit every branch on the way down. He's hanging out with Drake's dad 1 second, and then the next, Drake's dad probably was like, "Hey Johnny, I'm busy. I can't party with you anymore." He's like, "Who do I have in my phone that I could still?" Oh, Dave Portnoy. He's still sitting at the phone waiting like a dog. Waiting for me to scratch his back.
He's watching you right now.
I know.
Number two, he hung out with Justin Bieber last night, so I think he's doing okay.
Oh. I know he's watching. He's just probably too drunk to remember it.
Dan,
He heard that.
We never talked about Bieber. He got in a little thing with Prince. What side are you on that?
What happened?
Another artist put up an Instagram saying how upset he was that Prince was dead and called Prince the last great entertainer or performer. And Bieber commented on that guy's Instagram, which is crazy that Bieber's even doing that.
Thin-skinned.
And he said, well, he's not the last great performer. And everyone got mad.
If Bieber thinks that he's anywhere near Prince, he's a fucking lunatic.
At this point in his career, he's definitely ahead of him.
No. Ahead of him?
I knew
At
that
this
was
point,
coming.
Prince was one of the best guitarists of all time. Bieber just sits there and sings his pop songs.
Go look at what Prince had accomplished at this young, tender age of 21. I guarantee
Yeah, you know who Prince
Bieber.
didn't need?
I guarantee
He didn't need Diplo to do the dope-ass beats for him.
Dope-ass beats.
Point me.
So Dave, officially you're on Team Bieber there, not Prince, huh?
Yeah, no, I think what he says is fine.
I actually do too.
Get out of here. You guys are fucking... Come on.
I'm just saying, well, listen, it doesn't have to be Bieber. Like, Justin Timberlake's a great performer.
I would be okay if Bieber was like, he's not the last great artist. There'll be others, just not Justin Bieber.
Then we're good.
Then I'm